day, my friends. I want you to pay very close attention because what I'm about to share with you today can completely change the way you see your life, your challenges, and your future. Today's message is called Keep Believing. And this is not just a phrase, it's a lifestyle, a choice, and a principle that separates those who see miracles from those who only see problems. I know many of you are sitting there tired, frustrated, maybe even ready to give up. You've prayed, you've hoped, and you've worked hard, but it feels like nothing is moving. Maybe it's your career, your health, your finances, your relationships. You're asking, why isn't God answering me? And I want you to hear me carefully today. God is not late. He is not absent. He is working behind the scenes. What you cannot see is already in motion. Your breakthrough is not about what your eyes can detect. It's about what your faith decides to believe. So I want you to do something for me right now. Open your heart, quiet your mind, and commit to listen closely, because the message I'm giving you today will teach you how to take ordinary steps, even in impossible situations, and turn them into extraordinary results. If you are willing to stay with me till the end, I promise you, your perspective will shift, your hope will rise, and your faith will be reignited. And before we dive deeper, if you are ready to live in purpose, favor, and victory, make sure you hit subscribe to Dr. Myles Munroe Teachings, because every message here is designed to equip you, encourage you, and move you closer to fulfilling your destiny. Trust me, this is a message you don't want to miss. So stay with me, watch till the end, and let God speak into your life today. Faith is a decision, not a feeling. Faith is not something you fall into when conditions are right. It is something you choose when conditions are wrong. Feelings change with weather, reports, opinions, and pressure. But decisions are rooted in purpose. If faith were based on feelings, no one would ever move forward when fear shows up. Faith is the act of aligning your will with what God has said, even when your emotions disagree. You don't wait to feel strong to believe. You believe so strength can show up. Many people confuse faith with excitement, but faith often operates in silence, in uncertainty, in discomfort. When God speaks, He is not asking how you feel, He is asking what you decide. The moment you decide to trust God's word over your emotions, you step into authority. Feelings will tell you to retreat, logic will tell you to quit, circumstances will tell you it's impossible, but faith makes a conscious choice to stand. Faith says, I will move because truth does not depend on evidence. Faith does not consult fear before acting, it commits first and adjusts later. This is why faith requires maturity, because immature people live by impulse while believers live by conviction. Faith is choosing obedience when clarity is incomplete and committing to God's promise, even while the outcome remains unseen. Inviting God into every area of life means refusing to separate the sacred from the ordinary. Purpose is not confined to a building, a pulpit, or a moment of worship. It is meant to govern daily living. When God is excluded from certain areas, disorder enters quietly. Many people want God's blessings but resist God's governance. You cannot ask for divine results while maintaining human control. When God becomes Lord, He does not visit, He presides. That means your decisions, your relationships, your work ethic, your speech, and your private conduct must come under His authority. A life that honors God publicly but ignores Him privately is divided and unstable. True alignment happens when your faith influences how you manage time, how you treat people, how you handle pressure, and how you respond to conflict. When God is invited into everything, purpose begins to regulate behavior, and character begins to protect destiny. God does not want a portion of your life. He demands stewardship over all of it. Partial surrender produces limited impact, but total submission releases power. When every area is governed by divine intent, life moves from survival to significance, because nothing is wasted when God is in control. God believes in you and offers new chances. And that truth confronts the lie that your past disqualifies your future. God does not relate to you based on your last mistake, but on His original intent. Failure may interrupt progress, but it does not cancel purpose. Many people disqualify themselves long before God ever does. They carry guilt as an identity instead of treating it as an event. God's mercy is not permission to stay the same. It is empowerment to realign. Every time God gives another chance, He is reaffirming that purpose is still active. Redemption is proof that destiny outranks history. God does not invest in what He plans to abandon, and the fact that He keeps calling you means He has not withdrawn His assignment. Restoration is not about erasing consequences, it is about restoring direction. When God forgives, He does not hesitate. Hesitate is human behavior. Grace is decisive. A new chance is not a reset to comfort, but a summons to responsibility. The danger is not that God won't give another opportunity. The danger is wasting the opportunity by refusing to change posture, mindset, and obedience. Every chance from God carries expectation, alignment, and accountability because mercy is never cheap. It is purposeful. Listening to the Spirit over logic is the foundation of living beyond human limitation. The mind will always measure by evidence, probability, and circumstance, but God operates in the realm of the unseen. Obedience to God often requires moving before the path is clear, acting before the results are visible, and trusting when every indicator says, wait. The human spirit carries divine instruction that defies reasoning, that challenges conventional wisdom, and that stretches understanding. Too many people wait for clarity from their environment instead of clarity from their spirit, and in that waiting, opportunity passes. When God speaks, He expects response, not debate. Listening to the Spirit requires silence from doubt, stillness from fear, and attentiveness beyond emotion. Logic will tell you it's impossible, it's risky, it won't work. But faith listens for what God said, not what circumstances suggest. The difference between stagnation and breakthrough is the willingness to obey divine prompting despite natural reasoning. You don't consult the world for confirmation. You consult your spirit for direction. Many fail not because God did not guide them, but because they consulted too many voices, valued evidence over revelation, and substituted opinion for instruction. Learning to hear the Spirit develops a sensitivity that filters noise, sharpens purpose, and aligns action with destiny. Obedience, even when results are delayed, is the hallmark of true faith. Many people give up because they do not see instant proof, because the calendar does not match their expectation, or because circumstances scream defeat. But obedience is not measured by immediate results. It is measured by faithfulness to the instruction received. God often works behind the scenes, moving pieces, arranging circumstances, and preparing opportunities that are invisible to the natural eye. Delay is not denial, and silence is not absence. The danger is allowing impatience to dictate action, substituting human timing for divine timing, and abandoning purpose because of temporary frustration. When God instructs, He expects movement, not debate, and persistence, not surrender. You may plant seeds today and not see growth tomorrow, but every step in obedience activates unseen favor, builds character, and positions you for future victory. People quit when the first attempt fails. But those who endure discover that breakthroughs come not in a single leap, but in a sequence of faithful steps. Obedience amid delay is training the heart to trust, to depend, and to walk in alignment with destiny, knowing that God's timing is perfect and His methods are beyond human comprehension. Believing for the impossible to access miracles is the principle that separates the natural from the supernatural. God never asks you to believe for what is easy or probable. He calls you to trust Him for what seems unattainable. Miracles exist in the realm where human reasoning fails, where resources are insufficient, and where circumstances appear hopeless. If your faith only stretches to what you can understand or control, you will never experience the power of God. True faith expects the unexpected, acts beyond evidence, and perseveres when logic says, stop. The impossible is the arena where God's glory is revealed, and every step of belief positions you to see what only God can accomplish. Taking small steps of faith consistently is the way to move from stagnation to breakthrough. Many people wait for a perfect moment, a full plan, or a guaranteed result, but God often asks for a step, not a leap. Each step, no matter how small, activates favor, positions you for opportunity, and trains your spirit to trust beyond what you see. Progress is not measured by speed, but by persistence. The smallest act of obedience, repeated faithfully, compounds over time, turning baby steps into momentum and momentum into movement. Consistency in faith builds alignment with God's timing and opens doors that impatience could never unlock. Trusting God's work behind the scenes means believing even when nothing seems to be happening. God moves in ways that are invisible to the human eye. He arranges circumstances, positions people, and sets events in motion long before results appear. Delay does not mean denial, silence does not mean absence, and waiting does not mean God is inactive. Those who see breakthroughs understand that the battle shifts the moment they pray, that favor is already moving, and that God's unseen hand is working in perfect timing to bring promises to pass. Expectancy after prayer, not doubt, is the mark of a mature believer. Prayer is not complete until the heart positions itself in confidence, looking for God's response rather than questioning his timing. Many pray and then live as if nothing happened, allowing fear and uncertainty to fill the space. True faith speaks, acts, and waits with anticipation, knowing that God has dispatched his answer. When you expect God to move, your mind aligns with his purpose, your actions cooperate with his plan, and the miraculous has room to manifest in ways beyond human imagination. Victory comes to those who keep believing because persistence activates God's power in ways that single moments of faith cannot. Many give up at the first sign of difficulty, but breakthrough requires endurance, steadfastness, and unwavering trust. Those who continue to believe, even when circumstances oppose them, position themselves for divine intervention. Faith is not passive, it is active expectation. Each act of continued belief strengthens the spirit, aligns with God's timing, and opens doors that impatience or doubt would have closed, bringing promises from heaven into tangible reality. So today, my friends, what have we discovered together? Faith is not a feeling. It is a decision to trust God no matter what your circumstances say. You have learned that when you invite God into every area of your life, even the ordinary becomes extraordinary. You have seen that God believes in you, and no matter how many times you have failed, He is ready to give you another chance. You now know that listening to your spirit over your head, obeying even when results are delayed, and believing for the impossible are the keys to unlocking miracles. We also learned that small steps of faith, taken consistently, compound into momentum. Trusting God's work behind the scenes allows Him to move in ways you cannot yet see, and prayer paired with expectancy, not doubt, is the language of breakthrough. Finally, we discovered that victory comes to those who keep believing. Persistence activates God's power, and your breakthrough is inevitable when you refuse to quit. Every lesson today leads to one truth. What God has promised you is already in motion. What He has spoken is already being arranged. You may not see it yet, but if you continue to act in faith, you will step into a life of favor, miracles, and extraordinary purpose. So here's what I want you to do. Keep believing, no matter what. Stay persistent, stay faithful, and refuse to give up, because God's plan for your life is bigger than any challenge you face. If this message touched your heart, make sure you subscribe to Dr. Miles Monroe Teachings and turn on notifications so you never miss wisdom that can change your life. Share in the comments what you are committing to believe for today. Let's declare it together. Your breakthrough, your victory, your destiny, it's already on its way. Stay faithful, keep believing, and watch God move.